Yeah, so good morning, students. Myself Utsav there, and today I'm going to teach you photosynthesis followed by respiration. So, those who are following ICSE syllabus, they will get this topic in class 10. Those who are following CBSE syllabus, they will get it in class 9. Fine. So, now I'm going to discuss about the importance of photosynthesis, what is photosynthesis, aerobic respiration, and anaerobic respiration. Now, what is photosynthesis and how it impacts the human life? What is photosynthesis? See, photosynthesis means photo means light, and synthesis means manufacturing anything is known as synthesis. So, plants make their own food. We have been studying it since class 4. So, plants make their own food by the utilization of light energy. So, photo, they're using photon. Actually, it is known as photon. Photon. So from photon we say photo. Okay, and synthesis means manufacturing. So plant make their own food by the utilization of light energy. They utilize the light energy and they prepare their own food. Along with that, one green pigment is present inside the plant. That one is known as chlorophyll. Now what is pigment? Pigment is responsible for the impartment of any color. Like my skin color is pale. Okay, so pigmentation in my skin is pale, or the melanin, which is actually acting as the human skin pigment rather. Melanin is pale in my skin. Like in some, what to say, if I consider some Afro individuals, their melanin is black, their pigmentation is black. If I consider Caucasian, their pigmentation is white. Okay, if I consider Chinese people, their pigmentation is yellow. So it depends. So in that very way, plants also possess a green pigment which is known as chlorophyll. Along with that, it possesses certain colored pigment which is known as chromoplast, but that is not going to be discussed today. So straight away, without further ado, let us discuss about photosynthesis. Okay, so now what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis. Now photo means light and synthesis means manufacturing or to manufacture. So photosynthesis means I can say I have to coin the definition in accordance with class 10, with the level of class 10. I can't say the baby like definition, so we need to coin it properly. It is defined as the process where plants prepare their own food their own food by the utilization of chlorophyll and sunlight. Now see, chlorophyll and sunlight, these both are acting as the catalyst. These both are acting as a catalyst. Now what is catalyst? We have a fake concept. Most of the students, even some of the tutors also have seen, they're having a fake concept that catalyst means it speeds the rate of reaction. It speeds the rate of reaction, they say. speeds the rate of reaction, which is totally wrong. It's wrong. Catalyst, actually, what is catalyst? If I go by the proper definition of chemistry, then it is defined, you need to know, as the substance which alters the rate of reaction. Alters, this one is the keyword, which alters the rate of reaction. Mostly it speeds up the rate of reaction. Fine. So here in photosynthetic reaction, we will see that chlorophyll and sunlight both are acting as a catalyst. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about the reaction involved in photosynthetic process. We are going to discuss about the reaction involved in photosynthetic process. Fine. Now let me write the reaction. Okay. So let us write the reaction first. Which reaction is involved? Reaction involved in photosynthetic process. So what happens? Which are acting as the reactants in reaction? What happens? Reactants gives products. Okay. So which are acting as the reactants in photosynthesis? Reactants are carbon dioxide and water. This formula you must be knowing: CO2 plus H2O. Carbon dioxide and water in presence of light. Light is acting as the catalyst. So that's why over here I am writing light and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, in presence of light and chlorophyll, because it fasts the rate of reaction, or you can say that it speeds up the rate of reaction. You know why I say that catalyst alters the rate of reaction? Because in college, when you'd be promoted to college, when you will take chemistry, that time you will learn about the negative catalyst also. Like some catalysts are there which lowers the rate of reaction. So it's a fake concept that catalyst only speeds up the rate of reaction. It's not correct. Okay. So catalyst, what they do, they alters the rate of reaction. So CO2 plus H2O gives us glucose plus oxygen. Fine. Now this is the overall reaction of photosynthesis. CO2 plus H2O in presence of light and chlorophyll gives us glucose and oxygen. In this way we have studied in class 8, but right now we are studying in class 10. So in accordance with class 10 we have to write. Fine. So I'm writing CO2 again plus H2O, then again in presence of light and chlorophyll, it gives glucose. What is the formula of glucose? Always in carbohydrate, glucose is known as the carbohydrate, and carbohydrate is one of the component of nutrition. Fine. And carbohydrate is such a component which provides us the instant energy, and the ratio of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in carbohydrate always would be, the simplest ratio would be 1 is to 2 is to 1. So this is the simple carbohydrate, glucose. This is the formula C6H12O6. This is the simple carbohydrate. Simple carbohydrate. Now another thing is there, galactose, GALACTOSE. It is known as the complex carbohydrate. Complex carb. I'm just writing carb. Okay, CARB, carb. The complex one is simple carbohydrate, another one is complex carbohydrate. So in complex carbohydrate, what happens, the number of carbon we find, the number of carbon is more, the number of hydrogen is more, the number of oxygen is more. Oxygen means oxygen atoms, hydrogen atoms, and carbon atoms. Now this is one molecule. This constitutes to one molecule of glucose. Now over here 6 carbon atoms are present, 12 hydrogen atoms are present, and 6 oxygen atoms are present. Along with this, it gives us O2, oxygen. Now, one thing I want to tell you, if I consider the importance of photosynthesis, importance of if I talk about the importance, which definitely I'm going to after the reaction, the first thing I have to cover is it is the only natural process, it is the only natural process which liberates oxygen. Fine. No natural process liberates oxygen apart from photosynthesis. Fine. Now we have to balance this reaction. I'm balancing the reaction. Now the reaction is balanced. Okay, 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O gives us C6H12O6 plus 6 O2. This is the overall reaction of photosynthesis. Okay. Now some molecules of water also gets liberated, but in CBSE it's not important to mention. Okay, this reaction if you are mentioning, then you will get the full marks. As I have checked the papers, and I have checked the papers of ICC as well as of CBSE. So out of my experience, I'm saying that if you're writing this reaction, do not make it complicated. Just write this reaction, you will get the full marks. So it liberates oxygen. Now let us consider the importance of photosynthesis. Okay, so it is the only natural process which liberates oxygen. Now photosynthesis, the second most important point. Now we all know the importance of photosynthesis, that we all know the importance of oxygen, that without oxygen the life would not have become possible for any that means for any species on this planet earth. So photosynthesis provides room to the plant for making their own food. Photosynthesis provides room to the plant for making their own food. Yeah, because of photosynthesis, plant can make their own food, which provides the base of the nutrition of all the species. Yeah, it provides a base because plant is acting as the autotroph. Plant, they are known as the autotroph. Now what is autotroph? One is self. Auto means self and troph means food. Okay, so from autotroph, the heterotrophs are consuming the food. We all are heterotrophs. Okay, so plant is the main source of food. So without photosynthesis, the basal level would have been destroyed. The basal level of our nutrition would have been destroyed. Fine. Now the third important point of photosynthesis It maintains the balance in the ecosystem as it liberates oxygen. Fine. So this is all about the importance of photosynthesis and photosynthesis in short. Now let me talk about respiration. Okay. Now see, I'm considering the reaction of photosynthesis as the point of reference 6CO2 plus 6H2O gives us, in presence of light and chlorophyll, gives us glucose plus oxygen. So this is the photosynthetic reaction. Now why I have chosen respiration after photosynthesis? Because respiration is just the opposite of photosynthesis. Now what happens in daytime, because sunlight is present that time, so that's why photosynthesis takes place during the daytime. And during the daytime, what we do all the time, during the day or during the night, regardless of anything, we inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. So during the daytime, with the carbon dioxide which actually is exhaled by us get utilized for photosynthesis. This carbon dioxide get utilized for photosynthesis by the plants during the daytime, which we are exhaling. So that means we all are connected. Okay, we all are connected in one string. So that's why, and we are exhaling carbon dioxide and we are inhaling oxygen. When we are inhaling oxygen, that point of time what we are doing, cellular respiration is taking place. Now exhalation of O2 and inhalation of exhalation of CO2, sorry, and inhalation of O2 is known as breathing, which is a physical process. It's physical process. This is not respiration. Respiration is a chemical process. This is a physical process. Respiration is a chemical process. Respiration, it is a chemical process where the reactants of the photosynthesis, that means carbon dioxide and water, is acting as the product, and product of the photosynthesis are acting as the reactant in respiration. So then C6H12O6 plus 6O2, as oxygen is present, so that's why we can say that aerobic respiration, because it is happening in presence of air, aerobic respiration gives us what? Gives us 6CO2, just the opposite of photosynthesis, plus 6H2O, plus it liberates 38 molecules of energy. Energy means ATP, which is known as adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. Now in our body, how ATP is prepared? Adenosine triphosphate, ADP plus P is known as ATP. So adenosine diphosphate plus phosphate gives you adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so this process is known as Photophosphorylation Okay, so photophosphorylation comes under photosynthesis. Okay, so today we are right now I'm talking about respiration. So aerobic respiration, in aerobic respiration, what happens? Aerobic respiration happens in macroorganisms. It takes place in macroorganisms. In macroorganism it takes place. Macroorganisms. Okay, so 38 molecules of ATP it produces. Fine. Now this is just opposite, and this process, as you all can see, the reaction is taking place, chemical reaction is taking place. So respiration is a chemical process, unlike breathing, which is a physical process. This is the very important things to know. That means what is respiration, what is breathing, because sometimes we what to say, we mix up the concept of breathing and respiration. We think that breathing and respiration are same. No, it's not same. Both are extremely different. One is physical, another one is chemical. Now the last topic let me talk about for today. After that I'll rest my case. Hmm, anaerobic respiration. Now in anaerobic respiration takes place anaerobic respiration. Now this takes place in microorganisms like yeast. Microorganisms like yeast. Okay, yeast undergo through the process of anaerobic respiration. Now what happens over here? C6H12O6 is acting as the reactant, glucose is acting as the reactant, and what it produces? It produces ethyl alcohol. C2H5OH it produces, plus two molecules of carbon dioxide, plus two molecules of ATP. Two molecules of ATP. Okay, so this is known as ethyl alcohol. So if you know the reaction, last thing I want to say you, if you know the reaction of photosynthesis, respiration, like anaerobic respiration and aerobic respiration, respiration is further bifurcated into two things. One is aerobic, another one is anaerobic. Now aerobic respiration takes place in macroorganism and anaerobic respiration takes place in microorganism. So over here we see the liberation of 38 molecules of ATP, whereas over here we are seeing the liberation of 2 molecules of ATP. Fine. So by this you can write the differences. So these are the techniques by which you can write the differences, by which you can coin your own definition. So this is all for today. So I'm going to end it. Thank you so much.